And to hit back on just what the Catholic Church said, it's someone in our group, and I don't know if they read it or they heard it in another podcast, but where that comes from, just so people know, is when the Catholic Church says that you can't be a Freemason, it's because we question everything. And a brother in our lodge overheard or read or something, and I don't remember what it was, but along the lines of the catch alert saying they question everything. Why would we want that? So that's kind of where the premise of you cannot be a Freemason comes from, because we question everything.
Pope Pius.
And right.
Pope Pius, I believe the fifth, I think, is the one that initially wrote the first decree. This goes back into the Knights Templar. This goes into after the Crusades, and like it goes into a whole level that's on the other side. But in reality is, if you look at history, it doesn't matter the organization that persecutes us and condemns us. We are an open door to men that are looking for something different. And throughout history, we're the first ones to blame. This is, oh, the Masons did it. Or, because their structure, their way of being okay with themselves, is not fulfilling. Instead of looking at themselves, which Masonry requires us to look at ourselves and fix their organization, they rather come persecute us and blame us for some other man looking to you and not feeling. It's a feeling that to be a Mason, to sit there and knock on a door of a quote unquote secret society. You've got to be in a certain place in your head. It can't be because the Broncos lost on Tuesday or Monday Night Football or whatever. It's something that's happened or something is calling you. And when that happens, there's nothing that they can tell them they're going to hell. They can tell them they're going to Hades if you want to talk to the Hindu brothers, or you can tell them they're going to go wherever. They're not feeling fulfilled. And so they come to this place. Now, I sit among brothers who, believe different than me. But there's one thing that is required, an atheist is, let's make sure an atheist shall not sit among us. There's a big difference between intellectual design. This is all intellectual. This is all something designed perfectly down to the exact breath I'm taking today. Or it's an accident, my worshipful brother, just a pure bang. And now we're lizards, and hey man, you can't have it both ways in that. It's either it's created or it's an accident. You can't live in that middle world, and because you will find yourself eating their pills. And that's where they like to keep us, in this slavery, in this spot of lukewarmness, is what the biblical reference would be. Not hot, not cold. You're just lukewarm, and the spirit is not okay in that spot, dude, where you're stagnant. And so next thing you know, you're like, oh, I'm depressed. Well, you know what? They have these doctors who will help me. So you go to your doctor and you go, oh man, I am depressed, right? And then let's write you a prescription for some SSRI. And next thing you know, you're on that train. 2 years from now, you're taking forever pills, and everybody's looking at, and you're looking at your life like, what happened? I'm all these triggers and all. Masonry allows me to go to, hey, Worsh, I'm having a bad day, man. Can I give one last example? Example is, I've had tragedy in my life, and I've had people come to me, well, you need a chaplain. And they laugh because I'm a master Mason in a lodge in Big Bear. And I laughed at him. I told him, there's a lodge full of brothers that I can rely on. I don't need your system. And that's where the click of chaplain came to me. It's like, we have a network. They have a network. The Catholic Church has one, Catholic Church Charity. So, their organization, get back to the Catholic Church, has a network where you can follow the faith, eat, they have handouts, and that's how they infiltrated many a country, right? That's where they took care of the poor, and That's where we have a network too, amongst brothers of around the world. That the funny part is, and what flips people out, I think, is people are Masons, and they never knew they were Masons. And they sat among them, they drank beer with them, they sat all day with them, and their whole life, I've met Masons that nobody knows where they go at night, and then there's brothers like you and me who don't, we want men to know that there is an option for them. You know what I mean? There is an option for men, but there's other men that you will not get certain brothers on this podcast, and it's okay, and that's what makes it beautiful. I will die for that man's right not to ever have any man to ever know he was a Mason. I'll die for that, but he'll also die for me and you to have this podcast, and that's what makes
100%.